You're joking, aren't you? It's the Teesside Chef. It's vegan food time again, so don't be moaning, you lot. And rather than try and shoehorn plant-based ingredients into something that resembles meat, I'm just going to use a classic dish that was created by a people who didn't crave a bacon burger with every meal. Because we're making Misir Wat here, and this is a classic Ethiopian red lentil stew or curry. And if you think lentils are boring, or something that hippies eat, don't worry, because I'm chopping 4 medium onions first to keep all you lentil haters interested, because everybody likes onions, don't they? But I only need to chop them coarsely because my machine's going to do most of the work for me. So now we've got our onions in our machine, let's get the lid on and blend these up nicely to a pulp. And I thought I'd leave lots of onion blitzing footage in this video, instead of editing it out or making it shorter, because I've had lots of letters off people requesting to see more onion pulping in my videos. And pulping these onions might be a little bit tricky at first, so you're going to need to go in and have a word with your onions here and give them a little bit of a stir around before cracking on blitzing them, and eventually they'll start to toe the line and they'll blitz nicely to the right consistency. And those onions look like they're blending really nicely now, and we've absolutely mastered that. So let's get these in a preheated pan on a low heat, and we want to cook these down a bit now, for about half an hour if we can. But if you push for time and you can't be bothered following my instructions, then just cook them for a bit. But either way, you want to add a half a teaspoon of salt to them, and then give them a good old stir and cook them down a bit. And what you're trying to do here really is cook the harshness out of the onions and bring out a little bit of the natural sweetness, you see. And once we've cooked our onions for half a shift, we can go in with a standard sized tin of chopped tomatoes, although you can use passata here, I suppose, and give all that a really good stir to incorporate it. And then we want to bring it up to a gentle simmer before going in with 50 grams of African Burberry spice. And there is a link in the description for this recipe, for this spice mix. And I'm adding 50 grams of tomato puree to that. And regarding the Burberry spice, you definitely do need to use it for this recipe. And it's well worth giving it a go because the flavours are amazing and you can use it for lots of African dishes. And I have a few of those on my channel, so check them out as well. But anyway, enough of me going on trying to sell you something you don't want, because I'm going in with 6 cloves of garlic now and 2 teaspoons of finely grated root ginger, and that's about 10 grams. And let's season that now with 1.5 teaspoons of salt and around 1/3 of a teaspoon of pepper. And next we want to go in with 2 teaspoons of coriander powder and 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. And then once that's in there, we want to give it a good stir up and let that simmer away for a few minutes so all those spices can have a bit of a party in the pan. And all this waiting and stirring and waiting and simmering is probably my favourite bit because it gives me a cracking opportunity to hide in the kitchen away from my annoying family. But anyway, I'm just going to loosen this up now with a good glug of water, but you can use vegetable stock here if you like. And I'm just about ready to get my main ingredient of this dish in now. And if you've been paying attention, you know what's coming because it's red lentils, and I'm putting 500 grams of dried lentils in here, straight out of the bag, because we're going to cook these in our spicy sauce, and putting the lentils in uncooked will help to give a deeper flavour, and it will also help them keep a little bit of texture as well, because red lentils tend to fall apart to mush when you cook them for a few milliseconds. So I'm trying to avoid that here, and this technique works like a charm. So next we have to go in with about 1/2 litre of water, and again you could use vegetable stock here. And once that's all in there, we have to bring it again to a slow simmer. Give it a stir, of course, and you want to cook that until most of the liquid has been incorporated, and that can take a while. All in all, I usually cook this red lentil stew for around 2 hours all in. And now we can get our lid on and let that simmer away gently until most of the water has been absorbed. And when we come back to it and take the lid off, there we go, there's our nice relaxing steam facial. And this will clear out all those blocked pores in your faces, absolutely smashing, but don't forget to exfoliate afterwards, okay? And now we can go in with another 1/2 litre of water or vegetable stock. Give it a good stir up and let it cook until all of this liquid is absorbed into the lentils again. And look, I know it's not that interesting watching some fella lifting a lid off a pan and stirring the contents while steam batters the camera, but it is important to pay attention to what you're doing here, and you might need a little bit more water at this point. But at the end of the day, you're nearly done now, I promise. Yeah, it's not going to be much longer. Don't run off, will you? Because I just need to cook this a little bit longer. It's nearly done. Be patient. And there's more of our steam. Hey, I'm going to look like a new man when I've finished cooking this. And it's looking like it's pretty much done now. So now let's have a little taste test. And we're going to check for seasoning and the texture of those lentils. And I'm going to go in with another half a teaspoon of salt, as well as 75 millilitres of grape juice to give a little extra sweetness. And an important step now is to add some fat or oil to this stew or curry. And don't forget, all you health nuts, that tomatoes plus fat plus heat equals lycopene. And lycopene is even better for you than not using social media. So I've gone in there with 75 millilitres of olive oil, but refined coconut oil would work really well too. And the lentils are definitely soft enough now, so we're done. And let's give it another final stir before we plate it up. And I'm going to have this with a bit of turmeric rice and our lovely Misir Wat red lentil Ethiopian curry. And of course, a little bit of hummus on the side goes perfectly with this. Link in the description for that one. And some jalapenos for a good kick of heat. And that is your vegan red lentil Ethiopian curry. No animal ingredients, and your skin will look radiant if you follow this video tutorial to the letter. See you later, baby faces. Ta-ra.